With Daaji, we are very grateful that you are here today and all of us are getting the opportunity to listen to your words of wisdom. We have some questions from the youth who are struggling with some issues, and we'd be very grateful for your guidance on this matter. The first question that the youth have posed is, what, according to you, is the goal of education? Could you please enlighten that why are we all here doing this kind of educational endeavor?
Simply put, to educate oneself is to prepare oneself for what you are aiming at. If you want to be an archer, practice archery. You want to be a chemist, practice chemistry. Likewise, whichever field you choose to excel into, you have to study that topic to educate. Education, spiritually speaking, is to unload oneself from all sorts of knowledge. Gayatri Mantra also talks about that. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. What do we understand from these Sanskrit words? We had so many words recited in Sanskrit. When we take our lunch or dinner, what happens if you cannot digest it? Either you will vomit or you will have diarrhea. Knowledge or such information, Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu, Guru Maheshwara, all this, Param Brahma. You have to know both to compare both. Do you know Brahma? Do you know Maheshwara? Then how do you compare Guru with them? That means you don't know any one of them. You are just vomiting. It's a fallacy. Another one is, we say, Guru is my mother, Guru is my father, and I respect him or her the way I respect my parents. Now the beautiful question is, do you really respect your parents? Do you really respect them and you want to treat them or your Guru with your parents the way you treat your parents? So all these informations, spiritually speaking, are obnoxious. Even to say Guru is the greatest, Guru Brahma, etc. And they quote Kabir also. Guru Ishwar Sadh Kare, Kahe Lago Pao, Balihari Gurudev Ki. So these are all the information which creates diarrhea in us, mental diarrhea. We don't really understand what they all mean until we really experience it. True education, to me, is to bring about that worth in us by reciting certain principles, thermodynamics, reciting certain laws of certain countries, repeating certain laws related to quantum physics. They don't lead us anywhere. You become very informative, but nothing more than that. Even the guys who have built all these principles, so-called, even persons like great Heisenberg, who formulated that principle of uncertainty. Many of you are familiar since you are in the academic arena. His famous principle is that position and the speed of the electron, they cannot be measured at the same time. If you measure the position, you will not know the speed. If you can know the speed, you will not know the position. Why? What is so mysterious about it? Let me explain to you. Suppose when you drink water, your tongue tastes the water. When you smell a beautiful rose flower, your nose understands this is a rose flower. But can the rose understand my nose? Can water understand my tongue? Objects cannot understand my senses. My mind can understand the senses. Can my senses understand my mind? My intellect can understand the mind. Can my mind understand the intellect? Likewise, it goes on and on and on until we reach the frontier we call God. The reason why we can never ever understand God or can grasp God is because we are grosser than the subtlest being. If you had the measuring beam, measuring the electron, subtler, more refined than the electron itself, then you could have measured the speed and the position at the same time. But there is nothing that can be said today as subtler than the electron. When you bombard an electron, to measure the electron, it is bound to change its position or the speed. If I say I understand God, that means you are much above God, and that can never happen. Educating oneself from that perspective is to become subtler and subtler, more and more refined at an inner level. And that only means, in the words of Swami Vivekananda, I would say, your consciousness is now expanding, evolving. To educate oneself means to help one evolve in the field of consciousness. How? What is consciousness? Consciousness is all about the degree of awareness. You can simply define it like that. It's a degree of awareness. By that it also means degree of unawareness. Now, if we strictly abide by this definition, there too we fail, so we have to add something more. Suppose you become aware that your old man, your father, is sick, or he is having a headache. This is awareness. You became aware of his pain. Is it enough? What is your next step? Whether you are able to cure or heal him from his pain or not. But you have to have some action, from a response from your side. So awareness, becoming aware is not enough. There has to be a next step to it. Then it completes the cycle. So it's a degree of awareness with a measured, appropriate response. What is consciousness made up of? We cannot say. But we can say what influences my consciousness. And that's where heartfulness comes into picture. How our thoughts, our attitude changes the level of perception and the responses. I'll draw you an attention to one experiment that was conducted where 5 subjects were placed in 5 different fMRI machines where they measure the responses how each one responds at a cerebral level. And they were all shown a video of a man being tortured. Let us see, that person is belonging to, just for a hypothetical case, suppose he was a Hindu who is being tortured by some other community. That video is taken, and these 5-6 people from various community or religions were shown. One was shown to a Jewish person, another from African origin, one other to a Hindu, another to a Muslim, another to a Christian. Everyone's responses were different. Some enjoyed it, let him die. Another fellow felt so much of pain that he wanted to get out of that fMRI machine. That what kind of torture is this? So how our thinking and our responses are tailor-made by our own attitudes, our upbringing, our samskars, our environment, how they all come together and changes my responses. So it only says that if I was not indoctrinated by any community or any religion, then my responses would have been appropriate and just right. We are all conditioned by our upbringing. So to my mind, education also means to decondition ourselves. How we remove the burden of this conditioning, how to get out of this indoctrination from within. So we can say, your thinking also changes your consciousness. Our Shastras, and especially Vasistha Yoga Sutras, they talk highly about consciousness. For your information, if we have to judge what kind of culture existed during Lord Rama's time, what was their fancy, what were they talking about all the time, I can safely conclude they were all busy dissecting, discussing things on consciousness. If you see great Vasistha, Vishwamitra, and all those guys discussing, composing, what was the main theme of their subject? Consciousness. If Lord Rama and Lakshman and Mother Sita, they were going in forest, what was their main topic of discussion? Consciousness. You can find that in Lakshman Gita and Rama Gita. What was the dialogue between Ashtavakra and Raja Janak? Again, it's on consciousness. You can find that from Ashtavakra Gita. So you can see different locations, different individuals, and not just ordinary individuals, kings and rishis, and people, ordinary people like Sabri, and that boat person, I don't recollect the name, but you see, they are all talking of consciousness. It's always affected by three things: manas, buddhi, and ahankar. Heartfulness way of practices. Meditation helps us improve our thinking, helps us understand things from multiple levels. When we go into deep level of ourselves, we're going within ourselves. It unfolds many things. Gayatri Mantra only shows where is the source of knowledge. It does not show how to arrive at it. We read Gita, Bhagavad Gita, we read Ashtavakra Gita, we read Vedas and Upanishads. Buddhism, very few of us are fully aware. But if you read that also, they talk of nirvana. Hinduism highly talks about moksha. Lord Krishna talks about attaining this moksha by preparing oneself, having sthita pragya state. Kabir Sahib also talks about similar things. And he says that final state is like these raindrops falling in the ocean and becoming the ocean. Patanjali talks of samadhi, the finals. Everyone is talking of final states. But no one has talked about how to arrive at it and experience it here and now. That's where the difference lies between religion and spirituality. All religions, without an exception, they promise the heavens and moksha after death. Spirituality talks about the ultimate state being experienced in the present, here and now. If I cannot experience it here and now, you will not experience it ever, guaranteed. How to evolve consciousness? You regulate these three things, manas, buddhi and ahankar. To regulate these three things, again, as I said, meditation is the key. There is another process in heartfulness way of practices, is to refine oneself, get rid of this conditioning, and arrived at a naked state of my soul, pure, immutable, simple. This process, we call it as cleaning. And to connect with the divine and say, thou art the real goal and thou art everything in my life, that reminds you that you are nobody in this equation. That puts you in a place. Your ahankar is subdued. Every day, little by little, little by little. So these three things are somehow tamed. So taming of all this and arriving at a purer level of consciousness, spiritually speaking, that's a real education. Education such institutions provide, they're all informative at best. But they're necessary for our survival. Our material existence, Bhautik Jivan, is based on how we succeed and come out from such institutions. It's necessary element to our existence. But while we are at it, nothing can stop us from developing our spiritual wisdom, our spiritual being. That should go hand in hand. Like a bird flying with two wings. Bird can never fly with one wing, and so is our human life. Most of this agitation and stress, and they're all the results of this imbalance in spiritual and material world. People think going to temple is going to solve all the problems. No. You tell me even one place in Vedas, from Vedas and Upanishads, a mention of this word mandir. You will not find even one place, except in one Vishnu Sanhita. And that too in a very negative way. Vishnu Sanhita says, Vedas should never be recited in a temple. Read it. I am not saying it. It is Vishnu Sanhita. They existed only as dharmasalas in those days. But because of Buddhism, They started building stupas. The Jains started building their derasas. Hindus started building their temples. So it was a competitive nature. We started installing gods outside. At the same time, we proclaim loudly that Ishwar, Prabhu, Bhagwan, is Antaryamin. Haven't we said that so many times? What does it mean? One who dwells within. And how to find that ultimate being, one who dwells within me. Again, Gayatri Sloka reminds us, Di, Diyo Yonaha. Di, what does Di means here? Wisdom, the ultimate wisdom. That you are the source of ultimate wisdom. And how to arrive at it? Dhyana. When we split this word dhyan, Di and Yan. Di means the ultimate wisdom, ultimate truth. Yan means the vehicle. Vehicle through which we attain the ultimate wisdom is dhyan. And it is only through dhyan that we transcend the mind. And when we drop the mind, meaning all the conditionings, all the baggage that we carry, so-called knowledge, is dropped, left behind. Then you become eligible, like these raindrops falling in the ocean. Pure raindrops can easily merge in the ocean, becomes the ocean. Atman becomes Paramatman. But suppose if oil drops were raining in the ocean, they will float forever. Though on the ocean, can never become the ocean. In fact, they pollute the ocean. So the nature, I have to become as simple and as pure as that ultimate if I want to arrive at such a merger, becoming one with the ultimate. Spirituality aims for such a thing, see. Religious practices, they satisfy us very superficially. They make you think I have done my duty. I often jokingly say, suppose Secretary Saab, if Lord Parshuram or Lord Krishna comes and says, I'm going to spend a month with you, or Ma Saraswati comes and says, I'll stay with you for a month. In 3 days you will start saying, please, let me do what I have to do. Jao yahan se aap. You are disturbing me too much. ये मत करो, ये मत करो, ये मत करो. तुम भगवान को भी भगा दोगे सी. So I have to adjust my radar, my preparedness. Do I really want the ultimate, or shall I be happy doing my diya, agarbatti? But people don't understand. Hinduism is full of symbols and full of visual graphics to teach small minds how to behave in a society. Diya jalana means let there be light, means let there be knowledge. May there be wisdom within you. Agarbatti jalana means may there be fragrance. May your life become so fragrant that your reputation go far and wide. Your actions will speak for themselves. But these are symbols. We don't understand them. We are happy doing that day after day. And if someone likes me starts speaking like that, he said, he's not good, he's anti-Hindu. But you are anti-Hindus. Who has understood Hinduism very well? We all are carrying that filth inside. Undigested knowledge. Undigested food, as I said, gives you diarrhea or vomiting. Undigested slokas and mantras in your head, they become burden to you. Because you feel happy with, oh, I know so many slokas, but what have you become from them? Have your system been transformed? Have you been elevated spiritually? Have you attained a state of samadhi? So I'm sorry, I'm going too far in explaining what is education. See?
Dear Daaji, it was really important for everyone to understand that beyond a point, just stuffing ourselves with knowledge will cause indigestion, as you said. So at some point we need to unburden ourselves and reverse the indoctrination that has happened so that we arrive at the real state of consciousness. Seek the Antaryaman through vehicles such as dhyana. So I hope all the young people and everyone in the field of education will surely take this message to heart of understanding what is the real purpose behind education and what is the real education of the human being. I think there's one more question. Do we have time?
Go ahead.
Okay, yes, Daaji. So another thing that a lot of the youngsters struggle with nowadays is the peer pressure. So the question is, how can we handle peer pressure and stress in our daily life?
That's a tough one. One has to be so good at oneself and confidence in oneself. Once I fix my direction that I have to go in this direction, nothing should sway me away from such a direction. See. But peer pressure, so many people saying, oh, and because of my friend I did this. You can't blame your friend for it, see. If there are too many people pressurizing you, you can always inform your teachers or your parents that I am being pressurized like this. Or tell parents of the children who are pressurizing you. This peer pressure is not only within the students' community. This peer pressure is also there amongst the elders. Very indirect one. One teacher gets an iPhone. She becomes the talk of the whole school. She got an iPhone. Saris. All these fashion things. Isn't it also a peer pressure? Indirect. You like to get pressurized. And then you pressure your provider, husband or wife, and so it requires real understanding, right thinking and right understanding. Correct thinking and right understanding is required to sail through this maze of life. And all this is possible only when we are centered within ourselves. Through meditation, when we arrive at very clean understandings, sharp understanding of what I should be doing. The sadhana chatusthaya is one of the finest offering of our culture to the world, sadhana chatusthaya. The very first step is viveka. Viveka means I should arrive at a state where the differentiation between right and wrong is made easy. I should be able to know what is right, what is wrong, what is profitable, what is not so profitable, what is good for myself, for my nation, what is not good for myself and for my nation. And as we advance more and more, then we should be able to differentiate between what is the cause and what is the effect. The things that I'm going through now, is it because of my past karmas, or am I creating new karmas? Am I undergoing the effect, or I'm causing something new? And when I understand this, then one can cease, one can desist from creating new karmas. That is also the product of contemplative heartfulness way of practices. It's a product. You arrive at certain level of intelligence, wisdom, to decide for yourself what to do, what not to do, what to have, what not to have. But to do all this, one has to have courage and a goal in life. If you don't have courage, even if God advises you, you will not follow it. How many followed Lord Krishna during his lifetime? Hardly anyone. Not even Arjun. He had to be coaxed. He had to be elevated at a consciousness level by preaching. And ultimately, Lord Krishna's final weapon was Vishwarupa Darshan. And that too he could not digest it. Arjun said, please come back to my friendlier form. I can't see this divine form. I'm afraid. He was not ready, not prepared for it. But then, seeing all that, he asked Lord Krishna, I have been so gifted, you are my friend, I will do what you say. But one last question. How will the future generation know you? There too there is a dialogue. Lord Krishna talks about the importance of the heart. And he says, I dwell in every heart of every living being. Hridaya me pashyasi. Look myself in your heart. And where are we looking? All wrong places. Seeing his real form, no one could understand him. How would you understand him by having his nakli forms? Think over it, please. What is our next thing?
Should I guide them through relaxation and then we have meditation?
Okay.